Two balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. This is way back. Walk the ball. Let's Taylor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. We got a three-boxer today. Daniel, Starkand, Scott Geirman, both joining me to break down some news. We knew 5 days after the postseason ended, there was going to be a flurry of news with qualifying offers, team options, player options, etc. And the Dodgers had a lot of smoke building throughout the week that came to a head yesterday. So let's break these down one by one. The first one is Justin Turner. Club option that was, the Dodgers had the option to pick that up. They decided not to. They declined that. They buy him out for $2 million. He is officially a free agent. Daniel, I'll come to you first. Surprised that this option wasn't picked up, / surprised that he immediately goes straight to free agency? There wasn't a deal sort of worked out behind the scenes?
I'd say I'm a little more surprised by the latter. I'm not surprised they declined the club option. I think it was what, 16 million, yeah. 16.5 million, somewhere in that range. That's a little steep for Justin Turner, at his age. I know he had a really good second half last year. I think he's still got some in the tank, but I think there's going to be mutual interest there at a slightly lower rate, if some maybe in the $10 million range, $12 million range. So I thought maybe once they declined the club option that those were in the works, kind of like something that we're going to get to later here. But so I was a little surprised that they didn't really have something worked out, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to eventually. Who knows how long it'll take? We've seen how these things could play out, but I was a little surprised just because we've heard from both parties kind of that there's mutual interest there.
Yeah, Scott, that was what I was going to say. Is what's interesting is that in years past, they've kind of said, hey, we're going to let Justin Turner test the free agent market, see what happens. This time, Andrew Friedman seemed pretty vocal about, hey, we want him back. We're working on a deal. We're trying to figure out something that works. And then to see this deadline come and go with no deal, what did you make of that? Like, do you think there's a chance that Justin Turner, that, I'm not going to say bad blood. I think they have enough goodwill built up between them. But do you, let me ask you, phrase it to you this way. Has the perspective changed? Like, is there a greater chance that Justin Turner is not a Dodger today because of how yesterday played out?
I would say so. I think Friedman kind of plays these things with veteran players, a lot of the same, more so like Clayton Kershaw. It kind of gives them the opportunity to make a decision for themselves. Like, there's a spot for you here. There will be a role for you with the team. So, find out what's best for you if there's anything else out there. But I do believe that there is a chance, but I think Andrew Friedman's going to, let Justin Turner make that decision.
Yeah. Let me ask you, I'll just rapid fire real quick. Daniel, if he comes back 2 years, $25 million, if Justin Turner's camp says that's what we want, 2 years, $25 million, are you in on that?
I'd do it if that second year is a club option, but I'm not doing just a straight 2-year guaranteed deal.
Yeah.
At his age.
Scott, 2 years, 25?
Oh man, yeah, I'm trying to convince myself that a contract north of 10 million is okay for me for what he is. 2 years would definitely be a little bit steep for me. Just same thing with Daniel. It needs to be a club option, player option, or guaranteed year would be a little bit much for me. I would probably stick to a 1 year club option. I would try to stay under 10 million. I don't know if he'll be able to do that though.
Yeah, I honestly, that's why I'm just guessing here. I think that's why we got to this point, is that Justin Turner's probably hoping to get a second year, is my guess. I'm guessing they're in the same ballpark dollars wise. It's just a matter of, is that second year going to be a club option? So who knows? Maybe he goes to free agency. Maybe there's a team out there that's willing to pay him through his age 40 season, basically. We will see. The other bit of news that came out yesterday, before we get to the Clayton Kershaw news, is another the qualifying offer decisions. Tyler Anderson and Trea Turner do receive qualifying offers. Clayton Kershaw, who we'll talk about in a moment, Andrew Heaney, among others, did not. So Trea Turner, no-brainer. Everybody knew this was going to happen. We know he's not going to accept it in what is now a 5-day window. We thought it was 10 days. It's 5. MLB changed the rules a little bit on that one. But Scott, on Tyler Anderson, Daniel and I talked about this one in our video about this. I was not surprised. I expected this to happen. Were you surprised that Tyler Anderson gets the 1 year, $19.65 million qualifying offer handed his way?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I think this is a great deal for both parties. Tyler Anderson had, figured something out, and it's just like the Dodgers do. A lot of things click. I'm happy for him. I'm ecstatic for the guy who deserves this. 1 year, it's good for the Dodgers that they, see if he can replicate the same success. And then I don't think they'd have any problem handing him a, multi-year deal after that. Yeah. I think that would be great for them. So, I'm not surprised by it at all.
Daniel, how do you see this playing out? Do you think he accepts a qualifying offer? Do you think there's a multi-year deal reached with the Dodgers, or do you think he ends up somewhere else?
That's the big question. I lean towards him declining it just because he's coming off, by far the best season of his career, and this may be his only opportunity to cash in on a somewhat lucrative, multi-year deal. We've already seen, I forgot who reported it, but someone reported that like the Red Sox and a couple other teams are already showing interest in Anderson as well. There's not a ton of, top tier starting pitching on the free agent market. So I feel like this is probably his best opportunity to get like a 3-year deal, maybe in like the $13 million, $14 million a year type range. As opposed to just, the 1 year, 19 and a half or whatever the qualifying offer is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, the advantage for the Dodgers is if he declines it, another team is going to have to give him that multi-year deal and forfeit, essentially, as long as the deal stays under $50 million, which I assume it would, then it would be basically a pick that comes right after round number 2. And so I think if he declines it, that's in some ways a good sign for the Dodgers because they're going to have an advantage in a bidding war with anybody else of not having to forfeit a pick in order to go and re-sign him. And so that's what I've said all along. I think this ends up being like a 2-year, 3-year deal for Anderson. He hasn't missed a start in 2 seasons. People want to point to the metrics, his batting average on balls in play, that kind of thing, which is fine. But his hard contact rate was elite. His strikeout rate was good. His walk rate was good. And so, look, if you want to say his metrics were bad, you have to unpack what that means because a lot of his metrics were very good. There were a couple that might be concerning, but I don't think any of us are expecting him to replicate this, right? Like, we're not expecting him to lead the Dodgers in wins above replacement as a pitcher next year. You're just hoping for a guy who's a really, really good number 3 starter, which is what he was. So, speaking of pitching, though, let's get to the last one and maybe the headline from yesterday. Clayton Kershaw not extended a qualifying offer. Dodger fans probably not surprised by that, but as the day went on, there were reports from Ken Rosenthal first that he is nearing a 1-year deal with the Dodgers. We don't know numbers. Nothing is confirmed, but Daniel, I'll come to you. This is kind of how we expected this to play out, and what I would say is it's good news that these reports are coming out now. We don't have to wait 3 months in suspense to figure out with Kershaw, right?
Yeah, that's the key right there. I think I speak for all of us, and when I say that we wanted Clayton Kershaw back, I think it was clear that it was a little different from last year, considering A, he didn't have an injury, and B, he has already said he wants to play. Like retirement wasn't really an option here, so it was just the Dodgers or elsewhere, and he's made it clear he wants to stay. Andrew Friedman made it clear they wanted him back, so I think this just made sense for everyone. Again, no qualifying offer, which if you're going to resign him makes all the sense in the world. Plus, that they, like they said last year, they didn't want to put pressure on him. But I think this is a great deal for all parties. It would just be weird to see Clayton Kershaw playing anywhere else other than Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, and again, Scott, we don't know numbers yet. The reports are something in the range of 17 million, which we all joked is like any one of us could have tweeted that out. We knew it was going to be a 1-year deal. We knew it was going to be in the 17 to 20-ish range. I mean, Scott, how you feeling? It's got to feel pretty good to know that Kershaw is coming back.
Oh, it's fantastic. I think that as fast as he was to make the decision, and that's just that just shows that he didn't have to wrestle with it. That, or he knows that this is his last ride. And so I'm really happy that this is what it's going to be. He signs that deal. It's a bargain. Honestly, anything under 20 million, that's an absolute bargain for what he did. Like what ERA at 2.2 something, 2.28, I think, right there. Yeah. So it's Kershaw, fantastic. I couldn't see him anywhere else, to be honest.
Yeah, I tweeted. Matt and I had just finished recording a Kershaw video when the news broke, and it was like, well, we just wasted a little bit of our time. And I'm like, but don't care, because Clayton Kershaw is back with the Dodgers. He's the guy that it's like, whatever it takes. You could sign him to a 10-year deal, and you would get no complaints from me. Let this guy be a Dodger forever, as far as I'm concerned. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, Justin Turner, club option declined. He is officially a free agent. Tyler Anderson and Trea Turner received qualifying offers. They've got 5 days starting today in order to respond to those, to accept or decline. And then Clayton Kershaw, follow the news, follow DodgerBlue.com for all the latest, but reports are he's nearing a 1-year deal with the Dodgers after they did not extend him a qualifying offer. That's Daniel Starkand, Scott Geirman. My name is Jeff Spiegel. As always, we appreciate you joining us. This is DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. Enjoy the rest of your day, and of course, go Dodgers.